Broncos country.
Let's go.
No intro is necessary today because everyone knows what happened in Denver.
What happened in Denver?
The Broncos took down the Chiefs. Where were you at?
And what do we say to Mahomes and Chiefs Kingdom?
Not today.
Not today.
What do you say to the god of the AFC? Not today.
Not today.
You guys, Broncos country, Generation Orange family, it is finally, the case is closed. The case is closed. The Broncos are who we thought they were.
Indeed.
We try and have these things kind of scripted out, kind of just prepared. But I don't, we didn't do any of that. Today we just, we're going to sat down, just set up the camera and let's just talk ball because, oh my goodness, it's been a while since I have felt this way.
Yeah, this is, soak this one in, Broncos country. Just soak it in. And hey, there's plenty of work to do. We didn't win the Super Bowl. We're not even in the playoffs yet. But let's soak this one in because this one counts and this one feels good. And we've been waiting for this.
Yes, we have been waiting for it. You mentioned it. Broncos country knows we beat the Chiefs with Russ. We were supposed to beat them last year in the exact same fashion, might I add. It's the same distance of field goals. Yes.
Not today.
Oh my gosh, you guys. It's not very often that my dad and I get to watch a game together, and went to the sports bar today, and it was, oh my gosh, it was just all the emotions that you could possibly think of. And despite all the odds being stacked up against the Broncos, I'm talking about just the Vegas as against the Broncos, their dogs, all of the injuries, all of the media hate, and of course we're going to talk about the penalties. All of those things. And the Broncos, what did they do?
They won. And we've talked about it. We've mentioned this in the show multiple times. Sometimes you got to beat the opposing team and the refs. And that's what great teams do.
Yep.
And that's what we did.
Absolutely.
Not today.
In the post-game presser, Sean mentioned, you look at all these championship-winning football teams, and one thing that is really relevant in every single one of their regular seasons is these very close. I mean, a lot of them have heartbreaking losses, but really what championship teams do is they fight until the very end and they get the job done when it matters the most. Now that's the most important takeaway I think from today is we finally saw all three phases of Broncos football, which we have been waiting for. So let's start with phase one. Well, I guess it's not phase one, but I want to make it phase one. Special teams. That Marvin injury, that hurt. And when he came back, he was ready to play. Unfortunately, the major return that he had, did that say that? Yeah,
whatever.
What are you gonna do?
So yeah, and again, and I feel like we say this a lot, but we didn't have audio. We're watching at a sports bar, so we think we kind of understand how it was called, and honestly, I just really don't care. I just don't. I don't expect us to get calls against the Chiefs, especially against the Chiefs, but that's it. It's just find a way to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
And the Broncos have finally done it in the most, what did we hear? This is how you know we have good football friends, a good football family. It's the second that game was over, our phones were blowing up.
My phone blew up, and I'm not that cool, believe me. I don't have that, I think 9 people texted me. I hear from 9 people in a month.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's that kind of shows you, you know what I mean, what kind of game this was. Yeah. And when the Chiefs lose, America wins. And I know that we get a lot of people from either both sides of the game or just from all different walks of life. It seems a lot of you guys have said that you're tuning in from all over the country or you're fans of all different kinds of teams. And I think we can all agree that when the Chiefs lose, it's a great day.
Yes, and I think I want to take it a step further because we talked a lot about this game. We did talk about it on the podcast, but we also talked a lot about it personally, and there was just this sentiment that we were recognizing about the Chiefs where they reach these moments of truth, whether it's in a playoffs or making that when there's certain games like this where they get to this point and they always prevail.
Yes. And they always become the Chiefs that we know and hate. And that's why you could never really count them out. But what was that graphic that we saw? We kind of were talking about it earlier today. The Chiefs' chances of making the playoffs, 32% versus now 7%.
Was it winning the division? I don't even remember.
Who knows?
They're 5-5. You know, it's and Chiefs Kingdom. Just for your information, because this is how the script is flipped now. Okay, see, here's how it's going to go. Next week, the Broncos will be on bye, right? We'll relax. We'll wait for our boys to get healthy. You guys will be playing the Colts, which we'll be enjoying because,
We're going to be Indianapolis fans.
but then again, if you beat the Colts, that's okay.
Yeah, put us on top of the AFC. Yeah, no worries.
Fine. Meantime, here's what's coming up for you guys. Okay, we got the Commanders coming up. Okay, they'll be playing Denver, so you can pay attention to that one, and we'll get your Commanders, jersey or whatever you do. Raiders after that. See, this is how we've been living. Okay, we've been. Oh, no, you guys get to cheer against us.
Yeah.
Okay, and then maybe we'll be visiting you guys Christmas time. We'll see what happens then. But meantime, you guys can scoreboard watch. We can be on top of the mountain. And we'll see how things go from there.
That's right. Year in and year out, we've been all around. We've been Bengals fans. We've been Bills fans. Gosh, I think a time or two we've probably been a Charger fan.
And then,
you know what I mean?
Then maybe Eagles,
right?
right?
The Eagles got somebody, and it's,
or the Buccaneers.
that time is over.
We're Bronco fans.
You guys can go and check several old podcasts, because I know that we've have put this on the record before, that we both have believed for a while, before this year, even before, maybe even the beginning of last season, that there was no other team up to the challenge of taking the Chiefs down than the Denver Broncos. The Bengals have tried it. The Bills have tried it. The Chargers might give it a run this year, but
no. And on that note, I want to address this cockamamie thing I keep hearing about. Oh, why would Sean Payton want to come to the AFC West where Mahomes plays? Well, why would Harbaugh? Look, here's the thing. You got to deal with Mahomes no matter where you are. Why
if
not
you want
just
to be the best.
Yeah, why not just get up close and personal with them, play them twice a year, learn them, beat them straight up, and get by in your
Knock them out if
division.
you're able. Yes. You guys, Broncos country, everything is within reach for us. Everything. And you said that. When it was the last offensive drive, I remember that's the first thing you said. You're like, it's our game to win, or it's our game to lose. And that's exactly what they did. And we've kind of talked about the situational stuff. Let's talk about this game, because this was just.
It was good.
This is peak AFC West football. That's what I got from this. I mean, there were so many different routes that this game could have gone, and you and I discussed it. We were, I think our observations, our hypotheses were correct, and that we knew it was going to be relatively low scoring. We knew it was going to be close. There was never a thought in my mind that either of these teams were going to put up 20 or 25 on the other. And that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, and we've mentioned whoever turns the ball over will likely lose, and whoever got the first touchdown will likely win.
And look at what you got.
Played out that way. And I will say this, and I know we were at the edge of our seats, of course, but I'll be honest, I really felt, and I got, you guys, if you listen to our past podcast, we have nothing but respect for Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
He's outstanding.
He is the best NFL player in the league right now.
And we don't question that. But not today.
Yes, we learned a lot. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we kind of already knew this about Patrick Mahomes, but to me, just to see it in action once again, this guy, and I don't mean to name call, but this guy is a crybaby.
It gets old.
It gets to a point, you guys, and you might hear that phrase a lot, because this game was just the epitome of that concept of it gets to a point. I'm done. The greats is what we were talking about. What was it exactly the call? It was already like,
I don't remember.
It doesn't even matter. It was a no flag that he felt like he should have had. Yes. And this goes back, I think the first time when people finally realized this about him was when the Bills beat the Chiefs last year.
And then they thought.
And the offensive offsides call comes up. Do you hear that call a lot? No, of course not.
No.
How often do we hear leverage?
Right.
Did you hear Sean chirping about that? Did you hear Bo?
Right.
Going up there for the handshake saying, leverage call, man. Wildest effing call I've ever seen. No, you don't. And you know who else didn't do that? Sir Tom Brady, the Sheriff Peyton Manning. There's a level of respect for the game and for your opponent that I think you ought to have if you are to be considered one of the greats. Now, once again, this is not us saying that Patrick Mahomes is not the best quarterback in football, because he absolutely is. And I will argue that against naysayers, although I don't believe there are many. However, that's just, I mean, not only is it reflective of Mahomes' personality, maybe, but it is also reflective of this larger issue, which is the Chiefs have been game planning around the officiating or the lack thereof in this case.
Speaking of which, the blueprint, if you want to, I'm sure I don't need to tell this to the OCs out there, but the blueprint to beat Denver's defense, go
Hit
deep
Riley
against
Moss
Riley
deep.
Moss.
Yep.
Just throw it out there. Granted, Riley is a little grabby, but he's just gonna get flagged. If there's any contact at all, you're gonna get the yellow and you're gonna get the first down.
They're
So,
racially profiling my boy. I don't know what's going
but
on.
hey, here's the thing, and I've noticed this with Vance. You go back to Kareem Jackson, and it just Vance does a tremendous job of coaching up his players to what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
So they're going to figure that out. That's fine. And in the meantime, Riley gets out there. He gets his flags. I don't.
He
know
doesn't let up a lot of catches.
I don't know anybody caught a ball on him today, or really since he's been on CB1, how maybe giving up a couple of catches.
Right.
Guys doing a lot of good things. But yeah, that's the blueprint. Go deep against Moss and hope for the best.
And naturally, Riley Moss is going to be lined up in a lot of one-on-ones with Patrick Surtain out. And, the injuries were something that was such a big storyline coming into today because the Broncos are out 3 of their best players. Patrick Surtain, who's the best, right? And then you got J.K. Dobbins out for the season. And then you got Alex Singleton out. You know what I mean? Like all of those different things that are supposed to work against you. Ellis, of course, yeah. Even like Nate Adkins, there were some times where I was like, dang, we could kind of use somebody like that, even just
Did
for
get
blocking.
Mims back though.
That is true. That was huge.
Big.
And it was imperative right away. And he really put us right where we needed to be.
Yeah, but you make a good point though. Hopefully, this was as hobbled and injured as we're gonna be.
Yep.
We don't know that, and I wish this could be all positivity. Sucks about JK.
Yes.
Really sucks about JK. I just want to throw this out there. Personally, I know the guy's had a lot of multiple season-ending injuries. I also feel there's something to be said for somebody that continually comes back from such things
and performs at a high level.
Yeah, I love this kid. I would be all for the Broncos working out, even maybe a 2-year deal where it's incentive-based, creative. You figure out a way, keep him on maybe even bring in another body, another reinforcement to that room. But I'm all about keeping JK, and I know he wants to stay, so I hope they work that out. But it's really tough because he's one of them.
He's a workhorse.
Yes,
he was ours,
and he was kind of the face of our offense in many ways, and one of the most reliable part of our offense probably. So hey, all the credit in the world to the boys getting it done today without him, but that's tough.
Yeah, earlier this week we talked about how we were gonna match up without Dobbins, and you mentioned a very specific running back who we hadn't heard a lot of the last several months, and he had. I mean, I wouldn't say we had a very dominant game on the ground today, but what we did get was very important.
Right.
And it was good to see some work from our old boy, Jaleel McLaughlin.
Yeah.
And I was kind of the understanding that this could be the Harvey breakout game, legacy game to put him on the map, but his time will come.
And that's a good defense.
Yes.
Especially
up at the D line.
Yeah.
And you got to give the Chiefs D their credit. They did. Although I don't know, I was counting at one point, but I think at some point I counted 3 or 4 no calls. I mean, you got Benito on the ground.
Oh my God, yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
He got tackled. Yeah.
They did call him out. They probably called about half the holdings that we could see on the broad. There may have been others, but they did call some holds. But there was a few they did not.
Yeah, the officiating has got to be a storyline, and I do my best to try not to harp too much on the officials because I do believe that these guys are trained to be the best of the best.
You've got to believe that most of them try to be ethical and fair.
Again, it gets to a point, you guys. What is going on? What is going on? The DPI is out of control. I mean, and then it's one thing to call it, especially on someone like Riley Moss, who has a little bit of a reputation, and officials plan for that. They have pre-game meetings, they do all the stuff, and they know who to look out for. Our boy Garrett Bowles often is the subject to that kind of profiling.
That he made it.
Sure, and obviously Kareem Jackson comes to mind. That's natural. I'm not harping about the fact that Riley Moss is getting the calls. What frustrates me is the amount of no calls that if it was Riley Moss in coverage there, that he's drawing the flag
There's a couple.
99.9% of the time, and maybe even 100% of the time. So that's where I'm just like, I'm scratching my head. How could this be so different? Chiefs only had 2 touchdowns today, and both of them came off of major penalty yardage. So at one point it was like 7 penalties for over 140 yards for the Broncos.
However, there's one thing about those big penalty drives. They're not necessarily sustainable.
No, they're not.
You know, and I'll say this. When that game was shaken out how it was, and we tied it up, and then we had to give them the ball with like 4 minutes. That's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that's where he is the
We're
best.
tied. He has the ball.
Yeah. That's not a situation that you would really want to be in.
I honestly believe this. I felt we could get the stop.
Yeah.
And then get the ball and then score. Exactly. It was like, no, not today. Not against our defense. Not in our house.
Yep.
Not against Bo Nix.
Yep.
No, not today.
Yep. And so much of this stuff is really poetic. Just the final sack for a loss of 11 yards.
Oh.
That was just
I loved
perfect.
it. Blitz in the corner.
Oh my gosh.
It was
2
beautiful.
picks on the day
It was beautiful.
for McMillan.
2 picks?
Oh, sorry, one interception and 2 sacks.
Yeah, I know. I think you're right.
Well, the first one maybe got called back, I believe. Or was it 2 sacks recorded?
I think he had 2 sacks.
Regardless,
No, I think
it's
you're
not
right.
often
2 sacks
you
and a
see-
pick. I
Yes,
think you're
2
right.
sacks and a pick. He had a marvelous game.
Yeah,
And
good for him.
that's not the first time that he's put the game away like that for us either. So, especially in divisional games, I remember last year, I believe it was the Raiders shut that game away. I mean, it's
He
just
comes through.
he does come through.
He does come through.
And this was one of the first times I feel like this season where the trend has been up until this point today. The defense is going to get the stop and keep the offense in it. The offense might dilly-dally around for the first 3 quarters, but in the fourth quarter, they typically get the job done. But not today. Today, it was the defense who, by many measures, were getting screwed. And who came in with a fiery... I mean, that third quarter drive was the best Broncos football that I have seen since the Cowboys game. And situationally, it might be the best Broncos football that we had seen since Bo Nix came in and made his first start. That drive was just the epitome of a response to questionable and frustrating officiating, and let's just beat these damn Chiefs.
Yeah, and another thing, and I don't know what his QBR was today, and I'm sure I don't care. How about Bo? Was he, how about Bo against
Bo
the Chiefs?
played like a monster out there, and he had 2 bad games. The last 2 weeks, obviously. You can go and check the podcast. We did still win, so that's what good teams do, is they win ball games no matter what. He had 2 bad games, and we knew that it was going to be imperative that we got things together on offense. And
with JK out?
Yes. What better way to do it? I think we saw so many good things. And just to kind of go back to the midweek podcast where we kind of made these predictions, I think a lot of them came to be pretty true. Obviously, Sean Payton still calling the plays today on offense. Saw him with the playbook. But we really did open it up, it seemed.
Yes.
The blocking was better than I've seen all year, I think. I do wish we would have run the rock a little bit more. But again, like you mentioned, the Chiefs play really good D at the line. So you got to give them their credit. But
the screens were to a minimum.
the screens were to a minimum.
Couple
You guys
screens.
know how much I hate the bubble screens, and
there were some Mims.
Yes, and we were hitting Sutton a little bit more. That
3rd and 15 to court.
Oh my gosh, that was just. God, love Cortland Sutton. If there's one thing that I could say, that maybe I kind of get a little bit annoyed over, scratching my head. We always are trying this deep ball, right? It's always to Troy Franklin. And that's a connection that we were waiting, to happen. Obviously, Bo's rookie year. But there's a part of me that's like, why don't we just target Court more in those situations? He is so reliable. He is so effective. He's going to catch the ball.
So capable of finding the ball and positioning himself
in just the perfect way.
Yeah.
Even during the rust days.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There were, it was like, it wasn't a Broncos football game if there wasn't some miraculous
then with the toe taps or whatever. Yeah, no.
In the corner of the end zone.
Get the football.
The guy is an athlete. And if he's not catching the ball, he's usually drawing the flag. So
Yes.
that if there's one thing I could say, I would like to see a little bit more production out of Cortland Sutton. And the other receivers are playing to a very high level. Although we haven't heard anything, I don't think our boy Pat Bryant came
He
back.
came back,
Oh,
didn't
he
he?
did.
I think I saw him back in there, but
I was
correct me
too.
if
I
I'm
was
wrong.
too.
I think he did get back in.
Okay, good
Yeah,
deal.
yeah. He made
Yeah,
heck
that
of
was
a play.
another no call. That it's just like, man, our guy gets killed. Obviously, they a few weeks ago against the hip drop tackle against J.K. Dobbins doesn't get called. The guy doesn't get fined. Our guy's out for the year. I'm happy to hear that Pat Bryant came back into the game, but even if it was like a concussion protocol type thing, it was an illegal hit. I mean, and to me, right? I mean, that was the face that was the face mask run, right? They tackled him with his face mask and he hit the
Yeah, I
ground
think
and hit
so.
his
Yeah,
head.
yeah, yeah.
I'm assuming he went into the blue tent for concussion protocol, but again, we didn't have sound, so I'm just kind of
He
speculating here.
shook it up though. Yeah.
He did. And it's just like that's the kind of no call that if it's on the other side of the ball with the Chiefs, they're drawing the flag 100% of the time. And if they're not, then you see Patrick Mahomes and the whole sideline and just whining and crying about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets to a point once again.
However, it's a beautiful thing when we can. How many times did we say this during this game? Ball doesn't lie.
Ball don't
Ball doesn't
lie.
lie.
Ball don't lie.
Even with those. I mean, okay, my details could be wrong, but on two of their drives, the Riley Moss flags, it was on a 2nd and 20 and on a 3rd and 20. And hey, give Andy Reid his props because that's smart.
Yeah,
You know,
you're a bad
that's
offensive
exactly what you should
coordinator
do
if you're
in that
not.
situation.
Yes, if you are not trying to account on your offense for players like Riley Moss, number one, because
Whatever.
you're absolutely right, and just drawing that flag.
Right. But I mean, we that watch the Broncos week in and week out, we know that when we get them to 2nd and 20 and 3rd and 20, we're going to win that drive most of the time. So, you know what? I wouldn't change a thing. I'm glad they got those flags because in the end, they still got beat.
Yep.
They got beat.
Yep.
Period.
And I brought up something that I'd seen kind of a few days ago on Twitter. Someone looking back at the godforsaken 70-20 game against Miami. And they said, you look at that game now, and it's been a few years, that game probably saved the Denver Broncos and ruined the Miami Dolphins. And kind of in a similar fashion, these penalties, especially when they are just agonizing, they're agonizing for us as viewers.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're Riley Moss.
Yeah.
And the kind of drive and anger and righteous anger, I would say that gives you as an athlete is absolutely something you have to be accounting for.
Yeah.
Just the pure aggression that you see from the defense in response to
Adrenaline.
questionable calls or whatever, it is remarkable.
Yep.
I think a lot of times Vance's defensive calls also kind of reflect that. I think usually immediately after a big penalty, he either runs it back with the exact same play or he blitzes or cornerback blitz or he don't care. He says, send them all.
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point. The emotion, the way that this team responds to situational adversity, and they are they're just very strong at their core, and they proved it today. Because like we read all this stuff in the media and whatnot, and these players do too. Most of them, some of them they say they turn it off, but in the end they read it, they hear it. And for them to just be a collective unit, focused the way they are, the way they play today, and the way they've been playing on defense, and this team's good. Okay, this team's good, and they proved it tonight.
Yes.
If you didn't watch the game, then if you watched this game and didn't see that, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you either. I mean, the Broncos, it just looks like everything is finally falling into place. And everything that we've been talking about, that we're waiting for to kind of prosper, maybe sub for the game on the ground, it's all finally happening. I know last week we kind of talked about like maybe a few keys to the game, if you will. And one of them that we had mentioned is the Broncos have a lot of success when they keep a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And I think that's exactly what happened today. Mahomes, there wasn't any time, I think, that the pocket was really sturdy for him.
Well, I would say this: the Chiefs did a good job. They took some deep shots early,
That's true.
and then they kind of went into the dink and dunks, and they had some success with that, to where they were keeping Mahomes relatively safe. Not every play, but they were kind of they were managing, I would say, for a while. But in the end, the thing is, ball eventually is ball.
Yeah.
You know, and it
Ball don't lie.
it doesn't lie. And if the Broncos, by having a successful day offensively and not getting in a hole, allowed the defense to just do what the defense does, and eventually, yeah, you couldn't dink and dunk all day. That wasn't sustainable. Vance did adjust, and you also can't, just get flag drives every scoring drive.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to eventually make plays.
Sustain yourself.
And they did make some plays, but we knew going in, Mahomes is not going to show up for a big game like this and
No,
not
there
make
was
some plays.
no thought in my mind or
Right.
yours, I'm sure, that we were just going to completely
Right.
blow the Chiefs out and they were going to have no major plays. We knew Kelsey was going to be a factor.
Right.
We knew Xavier Worthy was probably going to be a factor, and Mahomes, of course. But by golly, the Broncos got the job done. And yeah, I mean, Bo, there's so much to talk about with him, and he really did have maybe one of his best games of his career, honestly.
It reminded me so much of his game in Arrowhead last year. And then of course the game ends the situation, same situation. Well, they didn't block the kick this time, right, guys? But I just remember when we talked after that game last year, and we're upset about the loss, but we're like, you know what, this Bo Nix kid,
He's got something to prove.
he's got something here because he did everything he was supposed to do for us to win that game, and I feel the same way about his performance this time. He's just like made every play he was supposed to make.
Yeah.
Really, and yeah, so props to him. Obviously our running game is a question mark. That's fair to say.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. We hope, I think we kind of know who Jaleel is, and he's a good guy to have, but he's not the type of guy that we can really give 15 to 20 carries a game to.
Yeah.
Maybe Harvey is that guy, and we're hopeful for that. We know Harvey can contribute. He certainly contributed a lot in the past game. He did have some nice inside runs today. So we just, that's, I should say this is a little bit of a question mark, but I just real excited right now.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah.
For this Broncos team. We'd love to hear from you guys again. We didn't have a lot of sound, so if you guys could also let us know about, gosh, how do I even describe what happened? I don't know. I know there were 2 penalties on the Broncos, and one of them, unsportsmanlike conduct on the sideline, is what I heard on Twitter. I believe this was on the pick that was supposed to be returned to the Chiefs, maybe 30 or 35.
The ball at like the 10.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things
Must have
where
been a
we try.
spot foul.
Yeah, we're trying to piece it together, as it's happening, and what could have possibly happened. I know they called a personal foul for a hit on Mahomes.
I don't think. Well, maybe. Yeah, they showed him. They showed
Right.
that hit, which didn't seem.
It
but
seemed
then
like
they showed-
Mahomes was
they
now
sho-
playing
that
defense
was the
and
same
somebody
one.
was blocking, but that's
Right.
just me.
And it didn't. Yeah. And then that was the same play. It was that was on the interception return as well,
Yes.
right? And then where Sean was we got run over by the ref.
And then he draws the flag.
Right. So maybe he's not supposed to be there. But it was strange. But I wouldn't change a thing because
No.
that was great. Instead of getting, the offense got the opportunity to answer the bell and just drive down the field. So, yeah, no, it was glorious. Again, we just got to enjoy this one, Broncos
Yep.
country.
Just win, baby.
There's a lot of work to do. Okay, we're not shooting off the confetti and calling us AFC West champions. Oh, but by the way, how about those Jaguars?
Thank you.
Yes.
The Cats came through today. Not only did they come through, I mean, they
stomped them.
stomped on the
Yeah.
Chargers. I mean, that
Yeah.
was unexpected, to be honest.
And I wish we were kind of far away from that. Didn't really.
Yeah,
We
we
were
didn't
watching
get to
them when
piece
they were
it
in
together as
the
much as
red
we
zone,
would
but
like.
we didn't really get a. Obviously, it was good.
Went our way.
Yeah. So it's a great spot to be in division wise. But it's not over. Remember, the Chiefs still play the Broncos again, and the Chargers still play them again. So if the Chargers are a game, all they have to do is gain one game on the Broncos, and then have a shot to catch them and win the division via tiebreaker because they will have swept the Broncos. So again, we're not celebrating, but we're very happy with the position that we're in, and we can literally just watch football next week and just when other teams lose, it helps us. And then this is like the final third of the season. There's 5 more games.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most important football. I mean, this game was the most important
Yes.
football game that the Broncos have played in a very long time.
Oh, and it's
And what an incredible
win.
evening. What a win. I mean, it has been a while since we have felt this good. And yeah, to go into the bye and just, I know myself, I'm a college student, so this is like a busy time for me. professionally. All this stuff is going on, and I just want to be able to sit back and relax, watch football at my leisure, enjoy it, knowing that we're on top of the AFC West. The Chiefs are in the distance.
Chiefs are they're
They're a
scraping
500 football
for
team going
wild card bill
yes,
now.
in week
Yeah,
11. That's not typical. So, yeah, Broncos country, enjoy it. What else do we have?
we deserve it. Yeah.
I know there's going to be more things we're
Yeah.
thinking about.
No.
That's why we started doing a second podcast, because my dad and I are just so emotional. We can't,
Yeah.
we just want to talk about
We
how we're
apologize
feeling,
if
and,
we
and
didn't
we'll break it down a
cover
little bit
certain
more.
things that we should have covered, but you know, what do we say to Chiefs Kingdom?
Not today.
Not today.
I'm sorry. The era is over. The era of Chiefs dominance, not only with the Broncos, but I think in the league, is really over.
And Mile High is not your home away from Mahomes anymore. Okay, it's our house. When when you show up, it's
That
gonna be
is
tough.
well, again, no audio, but we can see on the sky cam when it's jiggling like that, and when you can't really tell what's going on. That means that
Broncos
the
country.
sound is so loud that it's interfering with the camera stability. That's huge.
And Sean did
mentioned
mention
it in his presser. He said it has not been that loud since I have come here. So if you were present at that game,
Well done.
Broncos country, you did a solid. It's like you're the 12th man on the field there. So
Yeah.
that kind of stuff really can't be understated. And when it comes to, maybe in a few weeks, we're discussing potentially hosting a playoff game, for instance. That is what makes those kinds of games so important. That's what makes
That's how you
seeding
do
so
Super Bowl
important.
runs.
That's right. How do you think the Chiefs get there? Oh, by winning 2 home games
Yeah.
in Arrowhead, which is one of the hardest places to play.
Yeah.
Do you think Mile High is not like Arrowhead?
It's just-
You don't want to go play in Mile High. You don't.
No.
Just like you don't want to go play in Arrowhead. You don't want to go play in Buffalo.
Right.
Right? The Broncos are back. That's all I have to say about this game. Any of the doubters, any of the people who are saying that this was fraudulent, the Broncos only won these kinds of teams, they only beat those kinds of teams, that, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear it.
Well, and you know what's funny? A lot of those people that say that now those same exact people and writers or whatever are gonna say, "Wow, look at these Broncos!
Yes, they are.
Look out! No one wants to play these Broncos. They could win the AFC. They could get the home field."
Everyone talks about bandwagon fans. Nobody talks about bandwagon reporters and analysts. And that's a real thing. And the Broncos are finally back on top. You guys, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy this bye week. We will be present at the bye week.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll
you'll
do
be hearing
something.
from us. Don't
Yeah.
get us wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, and in the meantime, I think,
What
it
else?
feels good.
Yeah, it just feel good. That's really
That's
the
the
best
takeaway.
message we have.
Yeah,
You know.
there was no other. I mean, the Broncos are going to make me age exponentially. Dad, you might have a heart attack here, in a few weeks or so, but just
Until
win.
then,
Yeah.
yeah.
We were talking. We said it doesn't matter if this game is 3-6.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's 3-5.
not
For all I care, it just win, and that's all it
Ball
took.
games. All that. This is the regular season. Okay. People get all worked up about this, that, and the other thing, and this. We're just trying to get to the playoffs. That's the tournament, and get the best position as possible when we do. That's all this is, and then it's a whole new season.
Yeah,
And we're just winning. What is this? 8 in a row? 9 in a row.
9 in a row.
9 in a row. That's glorious. That's awesome.
That is glorious. There's literally not a better place to be. I wouldn't change a thing. Not about the whole season. Not about this Chiefs game. Hopefully, God willing, everyone is healthy. And I haven't heard anything on any of the injury reports. But Broncos country, it's a glorious day. Enjoy your bye week. We will be here, as I mentioned. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss another episode of Generation Orange.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. We are back. See you next time.